Hi, this is Ryan Falk, and this is my persuasive speech for the Bismarck State College Fundamentals of Public Speaking class, and this is my captive audience. Every day, all around the world, people wake up with their alarm clock going off. They get out of bed and turn on the light. They plug in their electric razor or hairdryer while getting ready for the day. They put some bread in the toaster or brew their favorite morning coffee. They turn on the computer or their phone, check the weather, road conditions, email, etc. Electricity makes this all possible. The alarm clock, light, toaster, coffee maker, dishwasher, refrigerator, computer, and phone all run off electricity. Because electricity is a necessity in our modern lives, engineers have come up with different ways to provide enough electricity for the growing demand. Contrary to the negative attention that coal has received lately, research shows that coal is one of the most efficient and cost-effective ways to produce the needed electricity. According to ExxonMobil's website in the article, Growing Demand for Electricity, from 2010 to 2040, global electricity demand is projected to increase by about 85% as living standards rise, economies expand, and the electrification of society continues. End quote. Access to electricity is very important to human development and the quality of life for those across the globe. Electricity provides such basic needs as lighting, refrigeration, and the running of household appliances and cannot be easily replaced by other forms of energy. According to the German Federal Ministry of Economics and Technology, they are quoted, "Even though the share of renewable energy is rising, we will continue to need almost as many gas-fired and coal-fired power stations as before. When there is no wind or it is cloudy, conventional power stations need to jump in and cover the bulk of energy consumption." End quote. Coal-fired power plants are the backbone of the United States' energy infrastructure and is also the main source for most of the world. As more and more energy is needed throughout the world, the need for cheap, reliable power is and will be needed more than ever. Coal-fired power plants provide this needed, cheap, reliable power. Coal plays a vital role in electricity generation worldwide. Coal-fired power plants currently fuel 41% of the global electricity and much more in some countries. Coal is our most abundant, affordable fuel source for electricity. A quarter of all of the known coal in the entire world is here in America. In fact, America has more than 250 billion tons of recoverable coal reserves, the equivalent to 800 billion barrels of oil, or more than 3 times Saudi Arabia's proven oil reserves. Large coal deposits can be found in 38 states. At the current rate of consumption, America is capable of meeting domestic demand for more than 250 years. Coal is used to power the baseload generating plants, those facilities that run throughout the day and night to provide the electric supply that is constantly required. According to the Rocky Mountain Coal Mining Institute, coal power plants being built today emit 90% less pollutions than the plants they replaced from the 1970s. Coal plants in the 21st century emit 40% less CO2 than the average 20th century coal plant. Regulated emissions from coal-based electricity generation have decreased overall by 40% since the 1970s, while coal use has tripled, according to government statistics. End quote. Given the large role coal plays in meeting our electricity demands, it is important that we make sure that this is a clean energy source. Over the last 35 years, America's coal-based electricity providers have invested billions of dollars in technologies to reduce emissions. As a result of that commitment, today's coal-based generating fleet is cleaner on the basis of regulated emissions per unit of energy produced. Because coal is abundant in America and less expensive than other fuels used to generate electricity, the economics of using coal to generate electricity makes sense. Without coal, America would be forced to rely more upon unreliable renewables and the fluctuating prices of natural gas. The assumption by policymakers in this country can cut carbon emissions by closing coal plants while making up for lost electricity by burning more natural gas and building more solar and wind. Indeed, natural gas has taken a bite out of coal. In 2013, coal production from U.S. mines fell to a level not seen since the late 1980s. Consider what happened in the winter of 2014 during the death grip of the polar vortex. In January, Shortages of natural gas in the Northeast caused prices to spike above $100 per MMBTU. Electricity spot prices in the mid-Atlantic region spiked as high as $2,000 per megawatt for a brief period. Natural gas was in such high demand for residential furnaces that electricity providers couldn't even get what they needed for their own power plants. Some providers had to turn emergency backup generators on that burned far more expensive petroleum. This winter showed that declaring the death of coal is premature, says Bob Yoon, analyst at Benetech, a division of Platts. Winter was a reminder that natural gas is used for heating. Coal consumption was up a lot this winter because of natural gas demand by retail buyers, end quote. At big electric utilities in the Midwest, where coal still provides more than 70% of fuel, the cost of burning coal into power are so low that we'll see very little switching over to natural gas, especially with gas prices having tripled in 2 years. According to Scott Siegel with the Electric Reliability Coordinating Council, in an article from Politico.com, historically, in the energy space, we always believed we could see the future and that one fuel is destined to dominate. That was the case in the late 1990s with the dash to gas, the early 2000s with the coal build-out, the mid-2000s with the nuclear renaissance, and now with the shale revolution. But the world changes in ways we cannot predict, and maintaining fuel diversity, which means a substantial role for coal, protects us from those changes, end quote. It's refreshing to see that even some respected veteran environmentalists have shown themselves to be in touch with the reality when it comes to coal. Armand Cohen, Executive Director of the Clean Air Force Task, has focused for 30 years on reducing the environmental impact on the global energy system. Yet in a published essay, he stated that coal is not going away. Coal will be central to economic modernization in the developing world, where most energy supply will be built in the next 3 decades. Coal will also have a significant residual role in much of the OECD. Coal is not going away. We need to begin to use it without emitting significant carbon dioxide and quickly. If we don't, the risk to the global climate is immense and likely irreversible. It's that straightforward. People who wish otherwise and simply hope for the demise of coal are not facing the facts. Let me be clear, but for the environmental challenges, this expansion of coal-fired power boom is a good thing. Reliable energy is a correlate of economic growth and human development, end quote. According to Luke Popovich, National Mining Association, a global economy cannot lift the expectations of millions of people, let alone improve their living standards, without affordable energy sources. And none is more ubiquitous and affordable than coal, end quote. Coal has gotten immensely cleaner over the past generation, and new and better ways will be found to extract coal without sending its dangerous byproducts into the environment. It's scalable and reliable in ways that renewable energy sources simply aren't. In short, unless we're willing to put up with blackouts that freeze grandma in the winter and melt her in the summer, coal, and more accurately clean coal, will remain a mainstay for power generation within the United States and throughout the world for decades to come.